Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Let's jump right in. Check this out.
Texas has got to run this offensive set with a little bit more pace. The clock is ticking down.
Harmon for the Players Era crown.
That was the shot that gave the South Carolina Gamecocks the first loss of the season. That shot with the score tie 64-64. Rori Harmon, who had 9 assists in the game, she broke a 40-year record in terms of dropping dimes, assists. But she was not putting the ball in the basket. She did not even take a whole lot of shots. She had 4 points at this point, when instead of dishing a dime, she called her own number and knocked down the shot to knock down South Carolina. And now that you know that this is a young woman, Rori Harmon, who had only 4 points, and with the score tied, she does this. She knocks down this shot after calling her own number, obviously, and with 0.7 seconds left in the game, she puts the dagger into Dawn Staley's South Carolina Gamecocks. Sorry, Aaliyah Boston. I know that's your alma mater, but hey, South Carolina went down in Las Vegas on Thanksgiving night. Take another look.
Texas has got to run this offensive set with a little bit more pace. The clock is ticking down.
Harmon for the Players Era crown.
That was a big shot with a big message. You may have heard me say this before, so let's say it again. It doesn't always matter how many points you score. What matters is when you score. And it takes a lot of confidence for you to have the ball in your hand and say, I've only scored 4 points in this game. I set a record with my assists, but I'm not passing the ball this time. I'm taking the shot. And for you to do that and beat the number 2 South Carolina Gamecocks is huge. So congratulations to Texas. I'm not a huge South Carolina fan, in case you did not know. So I'm like, way to go, Texas. Now, I didn't watch this whole game. In fact, I only saw a little bit of this game, and I did not see the end. It was Thanksgiving, and football was in the house. Unfortunately, the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Dallas Cowboys. I saw some of the first half of this South Carolina versus Texas game, and then at halftime, Texas was up. I didn't know what happened until later on in the evening when the game ended, and I'm like, oh my, South Carolina has gone down. So let's take a look at the box score, and then we're going to get into Coach Dawn Staley's comments about her team losing. So as you see right here, Texas Longhorns 66, South Carolina Gamecocks 64. Texas is now 7-0, and South Carolina is now 7-1. In the first quarter, Texas 23 points, South Carolina 19. Both teams scored only 10 points in the second quarter. Then in the third quarter, which when we entered it, Texas was up slightly. Third quarter, 13 points from Texas, and South Carolina got it going with 21 points. Then in the fourth quarter, Texas 20 points, South Carolina 14 points, and the game winner from Rori Harmon. Final 66 Texas, 64 South Carolina. Let me repeat, 64 South Carolina to 66 Texas. When you look at the Texas Longhorns, let's just look at a few players in double digits. The leading scorer, Jordan Lee, 19 points. She played the whole game, 14 minutes. She also had 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Then you go to Madison Booker. She had 16 points. She also played 40 minutes. She had 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 steals. My goodness, she's putting up Hannah Hidalgo steal numbers. And then you got Rori Harmon, 40 minutes as well. Only 6 points, but what did I say? Not how many, but when. 3 of 8 from the field, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, a 40-year record broken with her 9 assists. She also had 1 steal and a block. And for the South Carolina Gamecocks, you had 16 points from Joyce Edwards, the sophomore everyone is talking about. The 16 points were accompanied by 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. And then you got 16 also from Tanaya Latson, the one who came over to South Carolina via the transfer portal. And some people are expressing disappointment and expected a little bit more from her. She was 4 of 12 from the field, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. And you also got double digits from Tessa Johnson with 13 points, 3 assists. You got Medina Okot. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing her last name wrong. I just call her Medina. She had 12 points on 5 of 7 shooting. She also had 11 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and a block. And also, well, a loss. Well, South Carolina is Dawn Staley's team. You know, the program accustomed to winning. Well, you might remember in the last NCAA season when South Carolina took on Gino Auriemma's UConn Lady Huskies, you know, Paige Becker's team, and Dawn Staley sat there on the sideline looking like she could crawl into a fetal position. Let me remind you of what that looked like. You might remember that pathetic scene. I did a video about it because although the final score was 82-59, the score was not that far apart when she started acting like that during the game. There was still plenty of time and opportunity for her team to win, and they should not have had to see her looking like she was about to crawl into a fetal position, okay? Well, what is her reaction to this loss? Because this is the first loss they have had since what you just saw there from last season. Well, let's go over and read some of her comments about losing this game to the number 4 team. As Yahoo Sports reports, I'm not upset at all at this game, Staley said. This is going to help us because there are a lot of things to unpack in it. We played some players that needed to get experience in big time games. She also said, I just like the fact that we got some experience with this team, playing a team that pretty much brings back the core of their team. And if you can give them a run for their money in that way, I mean, you're on to something. You're on to being a better team. So I like our resiliency. We've just got to clean up some things at the end of the game. Now, that's quite a different response from back in April when she was like an inch from a fetal position. But in all fairness to her, that was a championship game. That's a lot different from being in November in Las Vegas at an inaugural tournament. But I know Dawn Staley enough to know she wanted to win that game. She wants to win every game. But she is being honest when she says, we did some things well, we did some things not so well. I'm not too upset because we're going to learn from this. One of the things I say a lot is that the pressure of being undefeated can be a whole lot of pressure. Sometimes it's better to get a loss early on because it can be a wake-up call that ignites a fire and that makes you even more determined to grow, to do better, and ultimately to win. So I'm sure, being this is the Gamecocks, they will use this to their benefit. But right now, Texas is boasting of a win. Number 4 Texas is boasting of a win against the number 2 South Carolina Gamecocks in a game, in a tournament where Rori Harmon, by the way, gets the MVP of the tournament and had only 4 points up until then. And then with 0.7 seconds left, she puts the Gamecocks to rest. And she also sets a new record for assists. Congratulations to Texas and also Coach Vic Schaefer. I like the guy. It's going to be interesting to see what else Texas does because they're coming for you. Let's go. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.